AMD, Advanced Micro Devices. Now, some people have been calling this one Advanced Money Destroyer, Advanced Money Disintegrator, Decimator. I call it Advanced Money Doubler, okay? AMD has insane upside, and it's going to be a whole lot more than a double, in my opinion, in regards to stock, okay? $98 stock here today. Now, AMD, okay? You got to understand, this is very important, everybody understands this. We're at inning one right now of a new growth cycle for AMD. So AMD's business model can go through some incredible, basically, cycles where the growth is just unbelievable for AMD. And then it can go through some very vicious cycles where the company has trouble growing at all. Now, the company just went through that over the past few years, where the business model hardly grew or actually didn't even grow for quite a while, right? But we've reached a new game. The new game has started for AMD, and we're in inning one, and they just have started. This is their latest quarter, trailing 12-month revenue here. This was a previous trailing 12-month. We just entered inning one of a new growth cycle for AMD. And inning two's about to start here, and it's going to be a whole lot of fun. We're going to see some insane growth rates in inning two and inning three for this company, which is 2025 and 2026. And we're going to go over that in just a moment here, right? Now, when it comes to inning two and inning three, it's really going to be a blast, not just from the revenue growth opportunity and the revenue growth you're going to see for the company in 2025 and 2026 and 2027, but really from the bottom line perspective, the rate of growth you got to understand in the earnings per share of this company is going to far outstrip the revenue, and it's not even going to be close. So much of every new dollar coming in for AMD is going to be hitting that bottom line versus before. So you're going to see gross margins. We've already started to see gross margins pick up, right? But the growth in gross margins and net margins, bottom line margins, is going to be intense over this next several years in regards to AMD. Now, MI350 is massive for this company, and this is the start. This is what I call inning two. Inning two starts when MI350 goes into production, which is mid this year. You could take mid as June, July. Okay, we're going to start getting into big production. And then the big dog's coming, MI400, in 2026. So we have a lot to be excited about here. Okay, the customer feedback, this is from the latest conference call, Lisa Su. Customer feedback on MI350, which once again, that's the one that's about to launch and ramp in mass here over the next few months, has been strong, driving deeper and broader customer engagements with both existing and new hyperscale customers in preparation for at-scale MI350 deployments. Based on early silicon progress and the strong customer interest in MI350 series, we now plan to sample lead customers this quarter, basically talking about the quarter we're in right now, and on track to accelerate production shipments to mid-year. That's phenomenal. This is indeed interesting given that AMD's MI350 will be based upon a 3-nanometer process node, which will offer up to 288 gigabytes of high bandwidth memory and can be a direct competitor to NVIDIA's Blackwell lineup. To top it off, MI350 is said to feature AMD's next-gen CDNA4 architecture, which will show us how far AMD has come along in terms of generational gaps between its AI architectures, likely giving us a better rundown of the future. So MI350 is a huge step in the right direction for AMD. It puts them much more in a great competitive spot to compete with NVIDIA over this next few years, right? And then MI400 is going to blow the doors off. That's a whole other level up there, right? Now, additionally, this company announced back last year that they're going to buy out a company named ZT Systems for $4.9 billion, okay? This deal should close, honestly, in the first half of this year, so it should honestly close in the next few months. And ZT Systems is a company that designs and builds server equipment, particularly AI infrastructure for large computing companies. AMD's acquisition of ZT Systems is intended to help AMD compete against NVIDIA in the AI market. Because you got to understand, NVIDIA's got the whole stack. They got the chips, they got the software, they got everything. AMD is now going to have everything. They're going to have the whole infrastructure. They're going to have the chips, right? They're going to have the software. So people got to understand that AMD is now getting themselves in a great competitive position to compete with NVIDIA in 2025 and especially 2026 and 2027. This does not mean AMD is going to knock out NVIDIA or anything like that. It's just like they're going to have some incredible growth rates because AMD is likely, in my opinion, going to undercut price on NVIDIA. And so if you're looking for, what some people will view as just as good of chips, and remember, like, all these big tech companies don't want NVIDIA to get too powerful in this space, because if NVIDIA gets too powerful, they continue to just command insane margins. So everybody in big tech is rooting for AMD. And that's something I don't think a lot of people really understand if they're not like really, really into this sort of stuff. Microsoft is rooting for AMD. Meta's rooting for AMD. Amazon's rooting for AMD. Google's rooting for AMD. Everybody wants AMD to have phenomenal chips, phenomenal software, phenomenal stack, because at the end of the day, that keeps NVIDIA from charging ridiculous prices. NVIDIA has been able to command insane prices for their AI chips in 2023 and 2024. Why? Because they had no competition. If you have no competition and everybody needs your product, you can charge whatever you want. If NVIDIA says it's going to be $50,000 for this chip, pay it. Pay it. You have no competition. And so the beautiful thing is, for a lot of the big tech companies now, AMD's finally got themselves in a position to start really actually competing against NVIDIA this year, and then even more so in 2026 and 2027. And so, the whole industry is rooting for them, other than maybe NVIDIA, right? Now, the additional thing you got to understand, right, is AMD's a little over $150 billion market cap right now. This company, in my opinion, based upon the growth rates I have for this company over the next number of years, they're on the way to becoming $1 trillion market cap over the next 3 to 5 years. Now, I don't have this company becoming an NVIDIA. I don't have them getting to a $3 trillion plus market cap like NVIDIA got to, right? I don't think they need to do that. You got to understand, like, for this to be an incredibly successful investment, if AMD just gets to $1 trillion over the next 5 years, I'm looking really good. And everybody that bought AMD stock is going to be looking really good in the end. That's all we need. We don't need it to be like, if AMD ever becomes a company the size of NVIDIA and it's a $3 trillion market cap, right? Great. But I don't expect that, and I don't think that's going to happen, and I don't need that to happen. But I do, based upon my numbers over the next 5 years, I do see them getting to the $1 trillion market cap in the next 5 years. So pretty incredible opportunity. The moral of the story is, in regards to AMD, you buy this stock in 2025 and you don't stop buying, and you just keep buying. And that's exactly what I'm doing. Almost every single week right now, I'm buying AMD shares. Today, I bought more AMD shares. Today, literally. And I'm not done buying. And so, I'm trying to gobble up as many shares as possible. I want to gobble up as many shares as I can before MI350 gets scaled out. That's a moral story, because my opinion is, once MI350 is really starting to get scaled out in production, there's no getting the stock at $98 anymore at that point in time. There's no getting it for under $100. Like, that's boat's going to be long gone, okay?
How would you like access to all my best course curriculums? My Becoming Master of the Stock Market course, my Stock Market Investing Mastery course, my Stock Options Mastery course, my Millionaire Playbook. How would you like access to all my best courses, as well as the ability to have access to my 6 and 7 figure plus Discord community, where we're constantly keeping in touch with each other, talking about what's going on in the market? How would you like exclusive weekly videos from me? How would you like the ability to see what stocks I'm buying and selling in my $2 million plus Fidelity account? If that all sounds pretty interesting to you, apply to join my private group. That is going to be linked in the description area down there. You can click on that, fill out an application, and go ahead, hop on a call with Andre. Andre will walk you through the whole process. He'll walk you through the whole group, and you can go ahead and join us in there. Once again, the link for that is in the description area.
AMD. Some people call it Advanced Money Destroyer. Some people call it Advanced Money Disintegrator. I call it a stock that's going to make me a lot of money long term, in my opinion, okay? So, AMD, when are the gains coming for the stock, right? And I really just want to talk about the stock specifically and not the fundamentals of the company, which is hard for me to do, by the way. It's very difficult for me to do that. But in all seriousness, in regards to AMD, here's the deal. I believe this stock is going to start to move as early as, I would call it, late spring and into the summer. Because what we're going to have play out essentially is Lisa Su's now committed to the middle of the year as far as launching MI350.
MI350 is the first major positive step in the right direction for AMD in regards to really competing with NVIDIA on a higher level, right? And the MI400, which is coming in 2026, is going to put AMD even up to another level. Now, that does not mean, AMD is going to beat NVIDIA and going to suddenly go from a $150 billion market cap or $170 billion market cap to $3 trillion overnight. That doesn't happen like that. But what this does do is it puts them in a great position to compete in these markets longer term. And so I wouldn't be surprised if I'm pretty convinced that the stock's going to start to move in late springtime and into summertime. And you will see the thing with AMD though, when the stock starts to move, it's going to move rapidly. It's not like it's going to just gradually move. No. It will move like 30% in a month. Like it's going to move dramatic. Now, with that being said, am I going to go out there and buy call options in AMD? Absolutely not. Why not? What did we talk about at the beginning of this video? We talked about recession risk. What happens? We know Fed hike cycle, that one's not happening. But what happens? If they cut all these government jobs, it really sends a horrible signal through the market and vibe, and like consumers pull back and we actually get a big recession and a crash in the market. Dude, AMD's going down. Like all the stocks are going down if that was to happen. And so if I'm all of a sudden buying call options on AMD because the company's numbers are all going to be great, which maybe they will, at the end of the day, if you're going through a stock market crash at that time, what's going to happen with your call options? They're all going to go to zero. So that's why you're not going to see me out there buying call options in AMD. And some people might, and hopefully they make a ton of money if they do. But me, I just want to buy the share straight up, just in case there's that market crash risk, recession hits or something like that in the next 12 months. I don't have to stress over, oh my gosh, all my call options are going to go expire worthless because the stock can't move up right now. And the numbers are great for the company, but the stock can't move up because everything's bad in the stock market right now. Because you know how it is. Like if you get a market crash, look what happened in 2022. Like almost everything got hammered. Almost everything, right? It's just a question of, was your stock down like 70% or was it down like 17%? That was really the only question. But everything gets hit in the end. So that's what's going on with AMD, right? And this is why I'm adding to the stock very aggressively, because I believe the stock's going to likely start moving heavily late spring and into the summer as people start to understand the AMD story better. They start running numbers. They start hearing all the stuff out of TSMC in the production facilities and how many customers are buying AMD and all that stuff, right? In the new MI350 chips. And so I wouldn't be surprised if stock's 200 plus at this time next year, outside of a stock market crash in the next 12 months, right? But if we just have a normal market, decent market, I wouldn't be surprised at all if the stock is $200 at this time next year. So AMD, yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about that one. The monster. What's going on with the monster? It's starting to move up pretty quickly for us, up 9% now. And keep in mind, this is during a market that's not even good. Like the market hasn't even been good recently. And yet we're already up 9% plus in the stock. And how high can this stock go? Well, in regards to their income statement, it was good and bad. And that's why I gave it a C grade. Net sales, $1.8 billion from $1.7 billion. Cost of sales did not go up nearly as much as net sales did, right? Net sales was up, what, $88 million or so year over year, or $82 million, something like that, right? Meanwhile, the cost of sales was hardly even up. The cost of sales was up like less than $20 million, up like $18 million or so. So their gross profit exploded to over $1 billion versus $938 million in the same quarter last year. Their gross profit as a percentage of net sales went to 55.3%. from 54.2%. So we're talking, 90 basis points of improvement there. That's a good number. It's a really good number for Monster. But where you have a problem here is operating expenses. Operating expenses went to 34.3% of sales, right? From 29.2%. So clearly they got some issue going on with operating expenses that killed their profitability. Like they still made a lot of money. Like their net income was still $270 million, but it was less than last year despite their gross profit being way higher than last year, right? And this is where me as an investor, I say, let me see what's going on with this company. I don't just like stop at this and look and say, gosh, Monster has really bad spending problems. I don't like Monster stock. No. I say, let me do a little more research because these companies give you all the details. They're going to tell you what happened here, okay?
So if we look right here, it says operating expenses for the 2024 fourth quarter were $621 million compared to $540 million in the 2023 fourth quarter. Operating expenses as a percent of net sales for 2024 were 34.3% from 29.2%. Adjusted operating expenses for the 2024 fourth quarter were $488 million compared to $463 million. Oh, okay. And then they tell me that if you go to the adjusted condensed consolidated statements of income and other information, you're going to get a reconciliation of GAAP and non-GAAP numbers. And so I say, let me go to that and I can find out some details. I'm putting you guys on game here, okay? This is how you just keep researching. Go down the rabbit hole and you're going to find out whatever you want to find out, okay? And look at here. Here we go. Our reconciliation of GAAP and non-GAAP information. Look at this. Operating expenses. This is a section I want to see. What's going on here? Well, alcohol brands segment impairment charge of $130 million in a 3-month span? What the F is going on? Now I found the problem with Monster as far as their expenses go. It's a $130 million charge in a 3-month span when it comes to alcohol brands. That's the problem. That's what hurt the numbers. So now I know it's not like the company just added 1 trillion employees. It's not like the company just, has some big problem with their core segment of energy drinks. No. They have some sort of issue with their alcohol brands right now, which if you didn't know, this is an article back from March 2023. Monster launches alcoholic product, right? The Beast Unleashed. This is their product, right? A hard seltzer. Well, here's the problem, okay? What I'm showing you in front of you right now, that's a stock called SAM stock. SAM. Stands for Samuel Adams, okay? Or the Boston Beer Company, however you want to call them, okay? They own Sam Adams brand. They own Angry Orchard. They own some hard seltzer brands, some of the biggest you're going to find out there. Their business has sucked for like 3 to 4 years now at this point in time. This is their stock price since April 2021. The stock price is down 81%. And the scariest part is we don't even know if we've seen a bottom yet for the stock. We don't know. And keep in mind, this is at a stock market that's at near all-time highs. Near all-time highs in a stock market, and the stock is down 81%. And this is for one of the most successful beer seltzer companies you're ever going to find. So there's clearly problems in this segment, which makes me think, I wonder if Monster bit off more than it could chew here. And I wonder if they should get out of the alcohol business. My guess is they're going to probably see how the business trends this year in 2025 and then make a decision probably later on this year or next year if they want to keep doing the business or not. But based upon what I'm seeing here, I'm wondering if it makes sense for Monster to just cut this baby and say, you know what, let's stick to selling energy drinks. We've got Monster brand, we got the Bang brand, we got the Reign brand, and we have a few other brands as well. Let's just stick to what we do and forget trying to sell alcohol. It's a tough business, man. It's a brutal business, as you can see with Sam Stock, one of the best that's doing this. I mean, if Sam Stock has trouble doing this, I just don't know if Monster's going to be able to do it. I just don't know. I mean, they're great at energy drinks, but that doesn't mean you're going to be great at selling seltzers or you're going to be great at selling beer. Like, it just doesn't work like that, right? So when it comes to Monster stock, I don't think there's a ton of upside ahead for Monster. I think there is upside, but I just in Monster because it's a great hedge for my Celsius play, right? That's why I'm in Monster. That's specifically why I'm in Monster, just in case I'm wrong on Celsius, which is my real bigger bet, right? Then Monster would thrive in that sort of environment. Now, I do believe that if Monster announced they're getting out of the hard seltzer business, I wouldn't be surprised if the stock was up huge very shortly after, right?
How would you like access to all my best course curriculums? My Becoming Master of the Stock Market course, my Stock Market Investing Mastery course, my Stock Options Mastery course, my Millionaire Playbook. How would you like access to all my best courses, as well as the ability to have access to my 6 and 7 figure plus Discord community where we're constantly keeping in touch with each other, talking about what's going on in the market? How would you like exclusive weekly videos from me? How would you like the ability to see what stocks I'm buying and selling in my $2 million plus Fidelity account? If that all sounds pretty interesting to you, apply to join my private group. That is going to be linked in the description area down there. You can click on that, fill out an application, and go ahead, hop on a call with Andre. Andre will walk you through the whole process. He'll walk you through the whole group, and you can go ahead and join us in there. Once again, the link for that is in the description area.
Celsius Holdings, an energy drink company, $25 stock here today. Ticker symbol on this one is CELH. Now, the important thing you got to understand about Chick-fil-A, gotta love some Chick-fil-A, about Celsius is in 2024, people were lining up to buy the stock as it approached $100 a share, right? They were in a big line. And now here we are, $25 the very next year. Celsius is $25, and where are the buyers at, right? So you got to understand what happened here, why Celsius went to $100 a share, why everybody was trampling over themselves to buy this stock, and why you can't find anybody to buy this stock right now, okay? And why I really understand that this is a tremendous opportunity here. So the long story short here is, in regards to Celsius, is Celsius was a $30-something stock, okay? Then Pepsi announced that they were going to buy a minority stake in Celsius, and it was for a massive distribution deal. And so Pepsi owned a little less than 10% of the company. Now, Pepsi then went and distributed this company's products everywhere it could. Additionally, they ordered too much dang inventory, okay? And so what ended up happening was after the deal went through, Celsius gets them distributed everywhere, and they order too much inventory. Celsius growth rates looked too high, which caused everybody to flood into the stock at $80, $90, $100 a share. And then there was a come down of that, right? Where Pepsi's had a normalized inventory now at this point in time, which is a painful situation to go through. That situation's about done now. But it was very painful to go through. The numbers have been very disappointing out of Celsius because Pepsi had to work through a lot of inventory and lean up their inventory levels. They went too crazy with their buying, okay? So that's what happened, and it's important everybody understands this in regards to the company. The company didn't break. It's just the company should have never put up as strong a growth rates as they did, which got everybody super hyped on the company. And then there's a come down of that. And so today, think about this. Today, I get the stock cheaper than before the Pepsi deal. Think about that for a moment. Before the Pepsi deal, the stock was a $30-something stock. Today's $25. Let that sink in for a moment, right? Now, the company has been a growth beast over the last number of years. Like Celsius, no one heard of Celsius 5-6 years ago. And now, Celsius is in every major food store, pretty much you can imagine, Walmart, Target, all the stores. It's super popular in the fitness community, very popular products, right? And the growth rates have been extraordinary for this company. But we're in the pain cycle for Celsius right now. And that pain cycle is about to wrap up here, but we're in it, okay? Now, we're about to go through another beast cycle starting at the end of this year, okay? We're going to have another beast growth cycle for Celsius that's going to start at, basically, think of it as the second half of this year. So basically, in the summertime and after, we're going to start having another beast growth cycle that's going to carry us into 2026 and 2027. Now, you might say, okay, why not wait until the second half of the year to start buying Celsius stock? By that time, Celsius could be $40 a share. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if by the time we get to the back half of the year, Celsius is 40. Like, I would love it to continue to be 25. I would love it to continue to be whatever price, like $22, $19. But I highly doubt Celsius is down here at these sorts of prices by the back half of this year. I wouldn't be surprised if by then it's $40 plus stock. So the moral of the story is I gotta add my shares now, right? Next up, to get you caught up on the situation, Celsius bought a company named Elon Nutrition, a $1.8 billion deal. That deal obviously has to get approved, and it should get approved, not in too distant in the future here. But this is a very female-heavy brand, this Elon brand. Very, very female-heavy demographic. Like, from what I heard on the conference call, we're talking like 90%-ish female, right? Which is interesting because the energy drink category has always been heavy marketed to males, right? And always been, like, if you're thinking about, I worked at Quick Trip for a long time. I worked at Walgreens, and we sold a lot of energy drinks, and we sold a lot at Quick Trip especially, okay, at QT. When I worked at QT back in the day, you know who bought energy drinks? Landscapers, construction workers, dudes bought energy drinks, and they bought Monsters, and they bought Red Bulls, but they bought a lot more Monsters than Red Bulls, by the way. That's who bought it. It wasn't like, the lady going to the office who's the accountant coming in and buying a Monster. That wasn't the way it worked. But now these products have really been marketed to female demographic, and Celsius is actually pretty successful in female demographic as well. But this Alani is like a whole different ball game. Okay. Now, additionally, this brand also sells protein bars. They also sell some, snack related products and things like that. So we'll see how Celsius wants to take that business. Do they want to expand into more protein bars and energy bars and things like that, or are they okay just sticking with drinks? I don't know. We'll see. That's just another potential for the company here. Okay. Now, next up to get you caught up on the story, and this is pretty new news, is Celsius names PepsiCo's Eric Hansen the company's president and chief operating officer. He's going to start effective March 21st, an extremely important position for the company. And basically this gentleman's being brought in. He's 53 years old, so prime of his career, right? He's being brought in from PepsiCo. He was at Pepsi since 1997, most recently as Senior Vice President of Strategic Partnerships. And so now that Celsius is doing this deal, it seems like a great time to bring in a gentleman like this as President and Chief Operating Officer. If you don't know, Pepsi owns so many brands, it's ridiculous. And so this gentleman had a pretty important role there. Now, what's interesting about this is Celsius said Hansen will receive an annual base salary of $700,000, which is not that much money. I'm thinking for this sort of role at this sort of company, that's kind of a steal. My guess is he's going to get some crazy stock options, and he's probably going to make millions or tens of millions of dollars on his stock options over the next few years. That's my guess, because I also believe Celsius stock's going to increase massively in value over the next 2, 3, 4 years. And so this gentleman's probably going to end up making himself millions or tens of millions of dollars over the next 3 or 5 years working at Celsius. But I mean, the base salary of only $700,000, I'm just saying, for this role, it's not much money at all. So really good find for Celsius there. And obviously Pepsi owns a significant amount of the company. So, I think Pepsi will be happy with this as well, right? Now, let's just think about this practically before you can get caught up in the PE ratios and the price to sales ratios and all that stuff, right? At the end of the day, just think of this practically. Celsius. The stock was $30 plus in 2022. It's $25 right now, okay? Since 2022, the revenues of the company have gone up dramatically. They have now Pepsi distribution wherever they need Pepsi distribution. They have bought out a company named Alani, right? That the deal should get approved very shortly here. And that's an incredibly fast-growing brand, right? And now they have a Pepsi veteran since 1997 to come in and be the COO of the company, Chief Operating Officer, which is, but once again, that's an extremely important role. I would call it the second most important role at the company overall. Some would say it's actually the most important role at the company. So I like what I see here. I like what I see in regards to Celsius. I think we're looking really, really good here, right? Now, if somebody's scared about just buying Celsius shares, you can always do what I do and hedge with Monster, right? That's what I've done. I've hedged with Monster. It's going very well. So just in case I'm wrong with Celsius, I got Monster as a hedge. Once I'm convinced I'm not wrong on Celsius, right? 100% convinced, back half of this year, they start growing very nicely again, everything's good. I'll probably sell off my Monster and move on from that position. But for now, it's just there as a hedge, just in case Celsius brand fails or something in the next, 6 months, 12 months. The biggest beneficiary of that would be Monster, since they own Monster brand, Bang Energy, and Rain Energy as well. Okay, so moral of the story is, in regards to Celsius, buy.